It appears that we are in keeping with the theme of film music.
Yes, Father. Isn't it very appropriate?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Ladies and gentlemen, do not be alarmed. A cynical Brit has been allowed on the air with a microphone. You will listen, or the kitten we have hostage will be forced to fight a giant badger. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Blue Please. Enjoy. Wow Radio. Yes, indeed. We got rid of some metal, but we replaced it with something equally. You're listening to Blue Please here on WOW Radio after a week's holiday. Thank you for those who asked, did you enjoy your holiday? Yes, I did. And let me give you one piece of advice that I hope you will listen to at some point in your life. If you ever get the opportunity to go out in search of true happiness, no matter where it happens to be, don't hesitate. Get on one of those dangerous-looking flying tubes with wings and just go. Because if you don't, you may never know what you're missing. That's my sagely advice for young people today. Okay, right, let's get on with the show. You know how this goes. We basically take the hot topics of this week and we discuss them in a generally cynical fashion. Coming up later in the show, of course, working as intended imbecile of the week. Rap in the forums and Ask the Murloc. But right now, it's time to deal with some cultural issues. Now, what exactly am I talking about there? I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. It is America versus Europe. The big fight live. Yes, apparently this was a battle of some description. I wasn't entirely sure when that happened. I don't know, maybe it was like in World War IV, I think the Americans invaded Europe and conquered China, or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, the point of the matter is this. The forums have been rife with this over the past couple of days. I believe the mods finally have it under control. However, it's an issue, because obviously this animosity does exist. In some form or another. So, what's going on, why is it happening, and why the hell do we have to read this crap, is the first topic of the day here on Blue Please with myself, TotalBiscuit, here on the WOW Radio. It's not EverQuest Radio, so if you did tune into that, sorry. I'm afraid you will be disappointed. Right. Okay. Basic principle of the matter is this. Ever since we actually started playing, we are well aware of two things. All of us. The first thing is that you can't win without epics. And the second thing is that we are segregated. Europe and America, totally segregated. We can't play with each other unless we go out of our way to buy ourselves an American or a European copy and then log in and create an account on those servers. Myself with a European copy, I cannot play with the Americans. The Americans with American copies cannot play with me. All that kind of thing. Now, the original argument was this a good idea to start with? It's not necessarily a usual thing, because many MMOs offer the ability to play with our continental friends, and offer our continental friends the ability to play with us. Is this a good thing? It can be a good thing, on the basis that it encourages people to make new friends who they may not necessarily meet in another environment. And when you are talking about MMO, massively multiplayer, you mean community. Community is the very essence of an MMO. Without a community, an MMO might as well not exist. It's a big mess of grinding rubbish. Yes. Okay. Now, we can't do that. Our communities are segregated. Americans are segregated from Europeans by the barrier. The invisible barrier that no one can see and probably has giant spiked kittens on top of it, ready to pounce on anyone that even endeavours to cross it. The barrier is there. We can't play with each other. Now, a possible side effect of this is animosity between the two communities. Because let's face it, if I were to insult an American on my forums, the European forums, that American could not come and defend himself. He couldn't log in. He would have to get himself a EU box just to post on our forums. Okay, fair enough, maybe. However, it encourages what I've been saying really for the past couple of weeks. And whenever I mention morons in the internet, I do tend to bring up this point that animosity and anonymity generates animosity. That's quite confusing. Slip of the tongue. Anonymity generates animosity. The reason for this is quite simple. It's the old thuggery parable. You're on the internet. No one knows who you are. No one knows where you live. No one knows if you're male or female, if you're 10 years old or 100. No one knows about your strange sexual habits. Which is great. A cloak of invisibility, and indeed a cloak of invincibility. They can't stop you from saying what you want to say. No one can. In real life, if they didn't like what you had to say, they could punch you in the throat. If you were to go up to someone in real life and insult them, they would hurt you. However, you can insult someone in real life and they won't hurt you. No, because they can't. They are incapable of physically damaging you in any way, shape, or form. How very useful. That's great. Because that means I can insult people with impunity. Fantastic. Isn't that indeed what the internet was made for? Insulting people. Breaching cultural barriers. To insult them. To make yo mama jokes across thousands of miles. Truly an achievement of mankind. Now, we've seen it before, but recently we've had a big spate of this. Europe versus America. America versus Europe. World War VII, or whatever the hell we're supposed to be fighting these days. So who's right? Who's in the wrong? Well, I've had the opportunity to read several threads from both sides. They're amazing arguments, and I've come to the conclusion that you all suck. Yes, you do. Every one of you. I want to tell you this. This is a home truth. And this is, in fact, a worldwide truth. A universal truth. The idea of being a moron crosses all cultural barriers. It crosses the idea of gender, sexuality, race. Every single group on the planet, no matter how big or small, no matter how totally alien or totally at home it seems to be, has idiots in it. They do, really. They are there. They are lurking in the shadows waiting for you. Just when you least expect it, you're walking down a dark alley, an idiot may pounce on you. So, basically what we've got, we have idiots from America, we have idiots from Europe. The idiots are battling it out. Now, if this was in real life, if the idiots were battling it out, they would destroy each other, and we could all be happy. Unfortunately, the internet does not allow for that. They cannot die. They're like paladins. You can't kill them. And they certainly can't kill each other. So we have this insulting going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. We have the Americans with their amazing, "We kicked your ass in World War II," or whatever. Well, no, you didn't. I'm English. I was your ally. Oh, we saved your ass in World War II then. No, you didn't. You made a good profit out of World War II, I'll tell you that. The one that came out of World War II, a very, very rich country. Whereas the rest of us were busy rebuilding our destroyed homes and all that kind of thing. And the Europeans say, Americans, they're all fat, stupid, slivering dogs. Warmongering idiots. Have you actually been outside recently? Have you seen on our streets There are plenty of big, fat, warmongering, slavering idiots, I can tell you that for a fact, just going to McDonald's. McDonald's is an American thing. No, it isn't. It's all over here. We eat there too. Oddly enough, McDonald's is pretty much in every single country on the planet. Oddly enough, Europeans have fat people as well. That's astounding. That's amazing. You know, I thought being fat, being obese was just an American thing, but apparently I was wrong. Guys, this is pointless. If any of you involved in that particular, quote, discussion, unquote, were actually listening to this archive or this show, you're an idiot! You are stupid because you got yourself involved in pointless stereotyping mudslinging. And it sucks. What kind of a community do you call that? An online community where we all play the same game. We obviously all love the same game. We share the same hobby, and yet we can't get along. It's a simple matter of growing up. I don't even want to know the age of these people, but it wouldn't actually surprise me if the age of the people involved in this particular debacle, yes, that is a word, varied from, say, 12 to 60. No doubt we've got every colour, every creed, every race involved in this. Every gender-confused fool. They're all here. They're all battling it out in some pointless internet headbutting contest which no one will ever possibly win. Animosity. Anonymity. Connected inextricably. Long words for the win. Now, quite frankly, I would have to say to the moderators, the community managers of Blizzard, that they need to clamp down on this kind of crap. Locking the threads is not enough. It's blatant racism on both sides. If I slag off Americans, I am being racist. If Americans slag off me, they are being racist. Europeans, Americans, Chinese, doesn't matter. It's racist. It's quite simple. It's complete and total intolerant bollocks. So, if I were to go on and say I hate black people, for instance, I do not hate black people, disclaimer before you even say anything, it's an example, you fools. If I went on the forums and said that, I would be banned instantly, and you know it. If I go on the forums and say I don't like Americans, the worst that will happen is that my post may get deleted or my thread gets locked. We saw it earlier. I've been looking on the European forums, and all at once, 6 or 7 threads along this line were locked. The people were not banned, the threads were not deleted, they were locked. They still exist. The fact is they can still be read, and the stupidity can still be spread. I would urge Blizzard and the community managers to take a more proactive stance on this crap. It goes further than the forums, you see it in-game. Some servers have this kind of animosity between nationalities. I've seen many threads and many complaints. Oh, I hate the Spanish people, they're all bastards. Or I hate the Germans. Or whatever. Well, isn't that a tad pointless? At the end of the day, these people are players, just like you and me. We play the same game. We have the same hobby, and the chances are that as such we share the same interests. Doesn't matter where we're from. It's totally irrelevant. And yet this is allowed to continue. If I were Blizzard right now, if I were community manager, I would be saying this. I would be saying, if you say anything like that again, I will ban you from the game. I'm not going to let you play because we do not tolerate intolerance. And intolerance of intolerance is the way to go. So, let's get some common sense going. I know it's the internet. Common sense is a very rare commodity. It sells on eBay for $500 an ounce. You may have to go to a Chinese gold farmer to get it. But the fact of the matter is, it's unacceptable, it's wrong, and it needs to stop right now. There are many other things you could be trolling over. Things which are, quite frankly, far more amusing. Go and do that. To those who hate anyone in this world, I say cry more, noob. Learn to play, it's fine. And you suck. That simple. You're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. This is Luca Torelli, this is Ryder of the Astral Fire. Enjoy. You're listening to the podcast and archive of Blue Please. You can listen in live on Sundays at 17:30 GMT. That's 12:30 Eastern Standard Time with a lively musical pre-show kicking off 1 hour beforehand. If you like WoW Radio's productions, then make sure to dig our shows at dig.com and check out our website at www.wcradio.com. Yes, indeed. European and American metal, both awesome, has to be said. Nevermore, Medicated Nation and Luca Torelli with Ryder of the Astral Fire. This is Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, TotalBiscuit. Right, someone mentioned in the channel something quite interesting. It's like, hey, I love how Blue Please is like not about WoW anymore. Like, well, yeah. To be honest, Blue Please has never really been specifically about WoW. We haven't spent 2 hours talking about game mechanics on this show. There are other shows which do that better. There are other shows that do... Shows? Yeah. I can't even say show anymore. There are other shows that do the lore side better, the role-playing side better, the PvP side better. The whole idea of Blue Please has always been community. Community issues, hot topics, and that kind of thing. And to be honest, it's never been afraid of grappling something that is not necessarily directly related to WoW, but may still be of relevance anyway. And quite frankly, I don't feel that that's a very bad thing at all. So there you go. That's what you're getting. Right, okay. Next issue coming up today. Yet another issue of community. But this time more an issue of what's Blizzard thinking? Why are they doing that? Now, before I start my little rant, I want you to know that if you have an opinion on this, I want to hear it. TheMurloc@gmail.com is the place to email. The Murloc. Murloc does not have a K in it, by the way. Some people think it's a warlock. No! Murloc@gmail.com. No K, just the C. Right. Now, here's my problem. Some of you may be aware that when people went to BlizzCon in America this year, they received some goodies. Yes, they did. Not only did they receive T-shirts, stickers, a embossed program, a comic, a Murloc keyring, but they did receive a quote. This is from the BlizzCon website and the sign up. Basically, this is what Blizzard announced to us: an exclusive in-game pet. Now, for many of us, that was the biggest thing of the swag. An exclusive in-game pet, something we could show off to our friends. Say, hey, we went that extra mile, or in this case, extra 5,000 miles. And we went to BlizzCon, and this is what we got. And that pet was a Murloc. Yes, it was. A little tiny baby Murloc. Does it make a sound like this? It makes a sort of mini gurgling sound of sorts. It's great. It's the best thing ever, in fact. In the same way that those who bought the collector's edition got a panda, or a zergling, or a mini Diablo, we got a Murloc. An exclusive Murloc, apparently. Only it wasn't so exclusive, was it? And this is my point of contention. Now, when Blizzard originally advertised the BlizzCon, they advertised the swag. And those of you who have been to conventions before will be well aware that one of the big reasons to go to a convention is for the swag. The goodies, exclusives, that kind of thing. Things to say, hey, I went to the convention and I didn't come away empty-handed. I got something that was worth having. Now, that's all well and good. Now, what you've got to bear in mind is that while some people say travel to the next state, Some people just travel down the street. Some of us travel from an entirely different continent. Myself, Slanik, and Kiki Jiki flew on one of those big metal tubes with wings over the ocean, which I think is the Atlantic. I can't really remember. I never did was any good at geography. We flew over to the other continent, which wasn't really Kalimdor, but there you go. From the Eastern Kingdoms to Kalimdor, to the BlizzCon, and we paid quite a bit of money to do it. Oddly enough, it does actually require a significant amount of cash spent for a 12-hour flight to the States. But there you go. That's all well and good. Did we enjoy the convention? Absolutely. Did we enjoy broadcasting it for you? Definitely. Did the swag have something to do with us going? Absolutely. Those of you who watched the BlizzCon video diary, and if you haven't, I would suggest you go and watch it now. It's on the front page of our website. It's also in the archives under BlizzCon coverage. Those of you using Firefox may need to right-click and save as. Will be aware that at one point in the video, myself and Kiki said, I think you guys deserve a reason why we're actually here, and the reason was free Murlocs. No other reason, free Murlocs. Now, while that was a joke at the time, the point still stands. Why were we there? Swag, as well as other things. How cool is it to be one of the few in Europe with a Murloc pet? Extremely. Does that in itself warrant flying to the States? Yeah, because it is that damn cool. If anything, it's more than Murloc, it's a sign of prestige. And that, hey, we're stupid enough, we are addicted enough to this game to actually fly to the States to go to their convention. Now, what point am I trying to get to? The point I'm trying to get to is that Blizzard advertised this as exclusive swag, and yet, we found out recently, decided to give it away at a different convention. Not only that, but it was a convention, it was a big LAN party called DreamHack that had absolutely nothing to do with Blizzard at all. And they were giving away prizes to competition winners. Now, some of you may say, oh, well, it's just three Murlocs we're giving away. Okay. But it doesn't really make a difference, does it? It doesn't matter if it was one Murloc or a million. The point still stands. This thing was advertised as an exclusive to BlizzCon. Something that people who went to BlizzCon could get. Now, the fact that some people who went to BlizzCon sold their Murloc is irrelevant, because they had the prerogative to do that. They went to BlizzCon, and they got the fat epics. It's like going to Molten Core and getting the fat epics. You wouldn't expect to be given fat epics if you didn't go there. If you didn't put the effort in, unless you're a complete and total moron, you would not expect free epics. You would not expect to be given it if you don't put the effort in. It's the same principle right here. If you were, say, an owner of the Collector's Edition, which I know some of you probably are, your little individual pet, would you be annoyed if that was given to someone who didn't buy the Collector's Edition, who didn't expend the extra cash or go on the extra effort to hunt it down? I'm aware that the Collector's Edition is now fetching around £100, which is significantly more expensive than it was, and it also sold out very quickly in Europe, and there are no more copies of it. Except for the ones that obviously are being sold for around £100. Blizzard aren't selling any more of these things. Heck, would you be annoyed if they decided to release more of the Collector's Edition? Because as the Collector's Edition is obviously a limited edition item, you put in the effort, you expended the cash to get it, and yet they've just, say, made it easier. What if they put those pets in all the editions? Would you be annoyed by that? I expect you probably would be. Same principle right here. I personally am very annoyed by this. Again, I don't care if it's one Murloc or 1 million. The principle stands. It was advertised as an exclusive to the con, and it's turned out that it wasn't. Now, the principle behind this is simple. A flat-out, blatant lie. As far as I'm concerned, this is a slap to the face of everyone that went to that convention. Really, that's actually what I think. I believe it's a slap in the face to everyone who went to the convention. Why? Because they're saying, well, we don't really value your effort as much as we originally claimed. We were going to reward you, but we've actually just decided to reward other people as well. They didn't go to the convention, but we're going to give them something anyway, and it's going to be the thing which we probably suspected would be the most enticing item on the list of swag for BlizzCon. Free Murlocs. Murloc pet. Let's face it, you didn't go to the convention for a t-shirt, did you? You didn't go there for the comic book or the embossed program. If you went there with the idea of swag in mind, and let's face it, most people did at some point, it was one of the factors in their decision to go, you were thinking about the Murloc. Blindingly obviously you were thinking about the Murloc. It's obvious. People whined that they couldn't get the Murloc because they couldn't go to BlizzCon or whatever. They said, yeah, make another way for us to get the Murloc because we can't go. Can't or won't. There's nothing impossible in this life. I'm in England and I still managed to go. What the hell are you complaining about? Oh, I have to travel one state. Oh no! I had to travel halfway across the bloody world to get that Murloc. And now they're just giving them away? Ah! Now, some people may say, oh, but it was very kind of Blizzard. You know, it's very, very nice that they gave these prizes. Sorry, what do you mean kind? It's a piece of card with a code on it. It's possibly the laziest prize I've ever seen. Kind is giving them a bloody Alienware. It's giving them a video card. Free copy of the game, maybe 3 months subscription. That is generous. Giving them a piece of card that may have been left over from BlizzCon is not generous. So it's a double-edged sword, in my opinion. It's a double whammy of disappointment. Not only do you piss off every single person who went to BlizzCon, some people may not be bothered, but I can tell you for a fact that some people are. Not only do you spit in the face of those who went to BlizzCon, but you're also lazy with your competition prizes. Wow, a piece of card. That's fantastic. I'm sorry if I sound annoyed. No, I'm not sorry, actually. I'm not sorry at all. I am annoyed by this. Now, when I came back from BlizzCon, I said, specifically, after I'd ranted about the way we were actually treated, that I would be a little less willing to give Blizzard the benefit of the doubt. This is how I've been for, say, since whenever I started broadcasting. I can't even remember now. I've always been giving Blizzard the benefit of the doubt on everything, especially game stuff. Community stuff, I've been a little less lax on, but game stuff, yeah. And the general reason for that was that Blizzard knows its game better than we do. Blizzard has a plan for its game. And generally speaking, the people who are complaining about it are morons that haven't really thought things through. In this case, however, it's actually quite simple. It's a blatant case of barefaced lying. If something says exclusive on it, you expect it to be exclusive. Go and look it up in the dictionary. The definition of exclusive. Exclusive ceases to be exclusive when you start giving it away elsewhere. I find that to be rather irritating. To be a bit of a slap in the face. Let's face it, the hardcore fans went to BlizzCon. The really hardcore fans. People may say, oh, well, it's not an issue of whether or not I like Blizzard more than you do. I like the game more than you do. The hardcore fans were hardcore enough to go. It's that simple. Now, I've got a couple of replies in the mailbox, so I'm going to read those. Andrea Voratasis say, now for once I have to disagree. That's cool. Please, by all means, if you disagree with what I'm saying, then let me know. There is a difference between giving everyone who buys WoW Murlocs and giving 3 people who won a competition at DreamHack Murlocs. You say it's cheap and people who don't go to MC don't deserve fat epics. Well, sure, they did not do MC, but they 10-manned Onyxia. Don't they deserve anything? Okay, let's take the analogy right there. The analogy is that those who say don't do MC don't deserve fat epics, but they did do Onyxia, so they deserve fat epics. Here's the analogy for you. You can't get Sulfaris Hand of Ragnaros by going into Onyxia. Onyxia does not drop the necessary parts. You can't get the Sapphiron Drape from killing Ragnaros, because he doesn't drop it. There's nothing saying that people who do a different thing that should be recognised as a lot of effort and an achievement should receive a reward. However, they don't get the same reward. You don't go into Molten Core and get a Sapphiron Drape. You don't go into Onyxia's Lair and get Sulfaris. They get different epics. Giving prizes to people is great, that's fine. But not the same one, especially when you say... If you were to say in-game, for instance, you can only get High Warlord's weapons by getting to be a High Warlord, and then you suddenly make one of them a drop in Blackwing Lair. High Warlords would be a little bit annoyed by that, I imagine. And that would be a lie. It would be a broken promise. Now, Andrea says, don't they deserve anything? Yeah, of course they do. But they don't deserve that. They deserve something different. Give them an exclusive in-game pet, and that'll be great. You know, that'll be fantastic. Having 3 people with something that no one else has, that would be great. You know, that is a good recognition. But in this case, it's a simple case of laziness. Like, well, okay, we won't give them something valuable. We'll give them a piece of card, because we had a few spare at BlizzCon. Now, Vanarus on the forums actually posted and said, we thought that, it's such a shame that people in Europe couldn't get these, so we thought we'd give them other opportunities. What about those of us who did actually go and get them? What about those of us who actually invested the time and the money to go there? What about us? Isn't that a slap in the face to us? I'd say it is. If you disagree with me, great. That's fine. Please email me. We'll discuss it on the show. But in this case, I cannot possibly agree with Andrea there, because the analogy is flawed. And it's a slap in the face to the Europeans who went to BlizzCon. It really is. That's what it represents. It's not just an in-game pet. That is what it represents to me, as someone who went to BlizzCon. You're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. I think it's time for a little more epic. We haven't had quite enough today, so let's get on with it. Rhapsody was requested. Rhapsody shall most certainly be played. This is Unholy Warcry. Enjoy. You're listening to the podcast and archive of Blue Please. You can listen in live on Sundays at 17:30 GMT. That's 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, with a lively musical pre-show kicking off 1 hour beforehand. If you like WoW Radio's productions, then make sure to dig our shows at dig.com and check out our website at www.wcradio.com. Ladies and gentlemen, do not be alarmed. A cynical Brit has been allowed on the air with a microphone. You will listen, or the kitten we have hostage will be forced to fight a giant badger. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Blue Please. Enjoy. WoW Radio. Ranting for the win here on Blue Please on WoW Radio with myself, TotalBiscuit. Right, okay, I'm going to let you know this right now. The moment I'm getting rather bored with WoW. It's not because WoW is a bad game. Maybe it's because I've played it since launch without a break. It has to be said, the topic I'm going to come on to now is a contributing factor to me getting bored with the game. And I'll be discussing this in just a moment. But what I will say is that if I do quit WoW, I will stop doing the show, because quite frankly, I couldn't obviously be up to date on the topics. I wouldn't know enough to inform you and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, maybe I should try Guild Wars or something. However, for the moment, I'm staying right with you. So, I'll tell you that the Blue Please on the 25th of December will be going ahead. Yeah. I'm stupid enough to do a Blue Please on Christmas Day. You know why? Because I'm working Christmas Eve and there's no way I can get home. So I can't spend Christmas with my family. I'm going to be stuck down here on my own. Maybe some of my housemates might stay, I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a show just for the hell of it. I will be doing Blue Please on Christmas Day. It'll be the special festive edition of the show. Gotta love it. Now, before I go on to the next topic, I'm going to read a couple more emails. Now, Anthony came up with this one. Hi, TB, you spoke passionately about racism and intolerance regarding the recent forum bullshit. Then you followed up with a whine about having to share a digital pet in an online game with 3 other people in Europe. Now, the definition of a whine would be a concern that was not based in fact. An incessant, annoying concern that no one really wants to hear, which is not backed up by a sound, logical and factual argument. And if I didn't manage to get logic and facts in the last 18 minutes, then I definitely failed miserably. I wouldn't call it a whine, I would call it concern. I'm going to make this very, very clear. The fact is, you cannot empathise if you didn't go. Some people may be capable of it, but generally speaking, if you did not go to BlizzCon, you don't really understand. Because you're not the one being slapped in the face there. Now, he brings up the whole, yes, people are starving, blah, blah. This show is not about people starving and freezing to death, or children dying. It's about World of Warcraft. It's about Blizzard. So don't bring that up, please. And then he says maybe they worded their exclusive promise in an ambiguous way. I don't say having the word exclusive in-game pet to be particularly ambiguous, especially when it's on the page advertising your convention. Like, buy tickets! It's effectively enticing people into it. Buy tickets because we'll give you a pet. An exclusive pet that no one else will have. Exclusive means just that. And if it's not, then it's a lie. It's that simple. And I don't like being lied to, and that is the whole principle of what I'm just trying to get over to you. I do not like being lied to, especially by the company whose game I love and play incessantly. Right. Okay. Now, next issue I'm going to talk about before Ask the Mork, which will be coming later, don't worry about that. Server migration, population. Now, for the last, let's see, that would be the last 10 months or so, I've been playing on Daggerspine, which is a high pop realm in Europe. It was one of the most balanced realms in the game, with a ratio of around 1.1 to 1, Alliance to Horde. A very good ratio. It was a full server with a good economy and a really good community. Its problem, specifically, was that there were too many people. Now, this happened over the space of a few months. This was not an immediate thing. It wasn't a case of, oh look, 10,000 people joined a 5,000 people server in the first day. No, it wasn't at all. Because we didn't have queues at the beginning. The queues sort of developed over time. I remember a few months after starting playing noticing, hey, what's this? A queue of 20 people. I've never seen this before. This is a bit of a novelty. Oh well, it'll just take 20 seconds to get through. That was fine. But gradually it grew, and it grew, and it grew, until Sundays we're seeing queues of 700 to 800 people with an hour and a half to wait. Now, whereas that is a bad thing in itself, the worst thing was if you crashed out in a raid and tried to get back in, you would get stuck back in the queue. Not only does that deprive you of your gaming time, deprive you of your raiding, but it deprives the raid of a valuable player. Ouch time, as Jar Jar Binks once said. That's not a good thing. Blindingly obviously that is not a good thing. Now, what happened was, they offered a migration. People didn't leave. So, recently they offered a second migration to a brand new realm, along with a migration from another realm to that one. And people did leave. Some people. One of those people was me. I left. I left the realm for the reason that, quite frankly, if I come home from work at night, I do not want to have to sit there for an hour staring at a queue screen. I want to play when I get in. My time is limited enough as it is, without having to waste an hour of playtime that I just can't have. I can't have it because the server says so. The server is full. Why is the server full? Because it was allowed to fill up. No one stopped it. Now, it's a great community. It's a really good server. But it's got too many people on it. And my objection, specifically, is that it was allowed to get to this state in the first place. Why was account creation on that particular server allowed to continue? Why wasn't it disabled? Why wasn't it made so, hey, okay, you can't start on this server unless you have an existing character on there already? So say, hey, I've got, a level 60 on there. I can create more characters because it won't make a difference because I'm just one person. I might have 10 characters, but I'm just one person. I will not contribute to the queue. Wasn't done. The server remains open for this day. I will actually tell you as well that for a significant period of time, during its high pop status, Dagger Spine was a recommended server. New players would be recommended onto Dagger Spine. And that meant the queues would increase. The population would increase. The lag would in fact increase. The server creaks under the amount of people that play. An absolutely full to bursting point. It's beyond full. Because a full server would be a full server without any queues. It's beyond full. It's overpopulated. So, why wasn't it stopped exactly? Just an open question to everyone. Why didn't Blizzard stop people from joining the server? Good question. Why? We had an answer to this. And basically what Blizzard said is, we won't stop people joining servers because we don't want to restrict where people can play. Really? Well, don't you consider an overpopulated server to be a restriction on where and when people can play? That is a restriction right there. I can't play on Dagger Spine right now. It's restricted. It's restricted because there's a queue. Why is there a queue? Because Blizzard doesn't want to restrict people from playing on different realms. Now, don't you notice there's a slight bit of irony there? By stopping people, by not restricting people from joining existing realms, from not restricting where people play, they are in fact restricting where existing people can play because of the queues, because they allowed it to get to that stage in the first place. Now, I don't honestly believe that they have no method of actually tracking how many people are on a server. Let's face it, they can tell. They have traffic reports. They know how many people are accessing their login servers and attempting to join a particular server at a particular time. That is a problem, and I can foresee this being a problem for other realms. They may not be there yet, but what happens if, say, a high-populated realm gets recommended? I don't know how the recommended system works, but it obviously doesn't make a lot of sense. What happens if it does get recommended, and it becomes overpopulated? It's an irreversible thing. What can you then do? It's now overpopulated. We now get queues on a Sunday, or in the evening, or sometimes even during the day. What can you do about it? You can migrate. Offer a migration option. What if people don't want to leave? Can you force them? No, of course not. However, some of us did leave, and we joined a new realm called Mazrigor. Is it Mazrigo or is it Mazrigos? I really don't know. But yeah, it's a brand new PvP realm, and it was designed to take the excess people from Daggerspine and Stormreaver to Mazrigo. Did it work? No. Daggerspine still has queues. The queues are slightly smaller, but not noticeably. It's still got queues. What have we got? We've got a realm that's underpopulated. And I don't just mean underpopulated, I mean criminally underpopulated. At peak time, there were 25 Alliance on the entire server. In the first few days of migration, the Horde went and killed the leader of Ironforge. Do you know how much resistance there was? 1 Paladin. 1. That was all there was. That was the only person in Ironforge. 1 Paladin versus an entire Horde raid. I was queuing for Battlegrounds a couple of days ago for 4.5 hours. After successfully managing to actually get into a Battleground, oddly enough. Wow, we got a fight. Lasted a little while. We got some honour. I got 7 honour kills. That's great. I'll be High Warlord in no time. Wanted to join another one. Couldn't get one. No doubt those of you on low-pop servers are well aware of this. It's a massive problem. Cross-server battlegrounds will hopefully resolve this, assuming they decide to implement them, but it doesn't change the fact that world PvP and the idea of having a world which is actually reasonably populated is effectively ruined. The economy. When you take people from 2 high populated realms and stick them in a realm where there are very few people, you get serious economic issues. I know how much I could sell my items for on Daggerspine. I know how much items generally cost on Daggerspine. What if we try and translate that over to a low-pop server? It doesn't work as well. I may have to cut the price of, say, my items just to encourage them to sell, because there are less people available to buy them. Whereas Daggerspine, I could sell 1 robe of Winter Night a day. Now, I can't shift 1 for love nor money. Cloaks of Warding. Crafted items that people generally need that are not consumable, or not reusable. That's a massive problem there. It's a big economic issue. Kicking the arse of the crafting economy. How can it be resolved? Well, let me point out a few errors that, in my opinion, Blizzard made during the transition. The first error was to restrict the times you could migrate. Basically, you were able to migrate, I believe, between 3 AM and 3 PM, and that was it. After that, you couldn't. Or was it 3 PM to 3 AM? Basically, half the day you weren't able to migrate. Couldn't do it. Wouldn't let you. Why? No reason. You just couldn't. The excuse was made, oh, it's to stop an influx of people and the server crashing. Oh yeah, big influx. That happened, didn't it? I mean, really. You know, couldn't you have predicted that perhaps this wouldn't really be a problem? So you've got a restriction there. That means people can't do it when they like. And if they can't do it when they like, you're naturally going to get less people. Second issue, no guild migration options. The migration, if you've ever used it, is basically part of the account management. It says, move a character. So move 1 character. Not all of them, just 1. You can move the rest of them, but you have to do it individually. You have to clear their mailboxes out before you do it, all that kind of thing. That's assuming account management is working in the first place. So I can move my character, yeah. I can't move my guild, though, can I? What happens if something goes wrong? And I've heard it before, horror stories, guilds being fragmented, splattered all over the place because they cannot migrate together. A guild decides it wants to migrate. It doesn't have a guild migrate option. It's got to go on its own. What if something goes wrong? What if a few of my guild members were away for those few days? And this is the point I'm about to bring up, the fact that migration only lasted around a week. That is the time frame you had to move, about a week. No particular reason why. I mean, why couldn't they have just left it open until both realms were at a reasonable population and then closed it? No, you had a week time frame to move. I'll tell you for a fact, one of my friends by the name of Fat Badger was away. By the time he got back, he wasn't able to migrate. I'm stuck on another server, and my friend's on the other one. I can't go in PvP with him because my 60's now in a different realm. Great, brilliant, that's fantastic. Thank you. Really. I said this before and I'll say it again. MMO is about community, and when you fragment communities in that way and don't give communities, and let's face it, guilds are communities in themselves, the option to move across, you are going to have problems. I personally am very unhappy with the way this has turned out. Of course I'm upset. There's no alliance to kill. I'm a PvPer, and there's no alliance for me to kill. I want to start a new guild, but I can't because there's not enough new people to join it. I've got 25 people, and 5 of them are 60. These are about all of the randoms that there are. Everyone else is in a big guild. I would have had more luck on Daggerspine. And that's saying something, because that has had established guilds since day 1. There aren't enough people to fill up my guild. We can't go and do Onyxia, Molten Core, even Zul'Gurub, because we don't have enough people to do it. And it's not through any fault of our own, it's just those people aren't there. They don't exist. You'd have to poach them from other guilds. You'll listen to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. I want to play you a little bit of Ask the Murloc. Enjoy. Enjoy.
Dear Murloc, I created a guild but now I'd like to disband cause it didn't work out right. What is the command to do so?
Fear mortal dread, foolish mortals, for it is I, the Murloc, come to take away all those things that you forgot you had, and just left in the attic as tributes to me. Ah, my dear, you are straying into dangerous territory, for few can ever leave their guild and survive. It's like cutting off your arms and then expecting to play cricket the day after. Yes. And there is only one way to successfully disband the guild, and it involves a lengthy summoning ritual. First, take a ferret, mildly seasoned, and swing it round your head for 30 minutes until dizzy. You now have a dizzy seasoned ferret. Don't you feel stupid?
Ask the Murloc.
Dear Murloc. Hello, can you tell me please, what's the difference between DPS and damage?
Ah, yes, the eternal battle between DPS and damage. DPS, Dog Pie Squared, is a complex algorithm used by the nation's top scientists to calculate the number of canines it takes to fill an exponential number of delicious pastry products. There is absolutely nothing that this has to do with WoW at all. So, what you foolish peon is actually thinking, I really do not know. Why would you even suggest something so ridiculous? Noobs these days should all be destroyed.
Ask the Murloc.
Dear Murloc, I am a new Alliance player, and I was wondering, will I get killed if I go to the Horde Island?
No, my friend. It's all lies made up by the evil liberals who want to destroy Christmas. The Horde are, in fact, our friends. A race of kindly individuals who would like nothing more than to give you a big cuddle and a basket of savoury meat products. The best place to meet friendly Horde is in the Crossroads. Just head up to the Barrens until you reach it, and you'll find plenty of nice Horde to play with. Now get out of my house, you pile-ridden worms. The Murloc is hosting a dinner party, and if you're not careful, you'll be the main course.
Ask the Murloc.
You're listening to the podcast and archive of Blue Please. You can listen in live on Sundays at 17:30 GMT. That's 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, with a lively musical pre-show kicking off 1 hour beforehand. If you like WoW Radio's productions, then make sure to dig our shows at dig.com and check out our website at www.wcradio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not be alarmed. A cynical Brit has been allowed on the air with a microphone. You will listen, or the kitten we have hostage will be forced to fight a giant badger. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Blue Please. Enjoy. Wow.
Radio.
Yes, indeed. The sounds of Ed Guy nailed to the wheel here on WoW Radio. This is Blue Please with TotalBiscuit. I'd like to welcome Thungot. He's actually a community manager, isn't he? Yeah, community manager of the European realms and a big poster on the forums. Probably one of the most sensible posters on the forums. But then again, that's probably because AS is just insane. Yeah. AS trolls more than we do. It's crazy. Right. Okay, point of the matter. I've got some emails, and I'm going to read them. I've got some shout-outs, I'm going to read those. And then I should talk a little bit more about overpopulation, server migration, and then touch on the comments that Thungot's just made in the channel, which are very valued. Right, okay. A few more emails. Now, Murloc's at BlizzCon. Sputnik says, I can see where you're coming from. The Murloc is a personification of BlizzCon goers. Not just a pet, but a trophy for an effort that someone actually made. Finally, somebody gets it. Now, Talia pointed out that ages and ages ago, before BlizzCon, I said, it's only an in-game pet. Stop whining about it. Yeah, but what I also said was that people who go to BlizzCon deserve this pet, and people who don't do not. And I've said this over and over again, I've stuck to it. Yeah, it's a silly in-game pet, but you've also got to bear in mind that it is a symbol of people who actually went to BlizzCon. Now, to someone that didn't go to BlizzCon, that symbolism is irrelevant. It's effectively a lie. I mean, for instance, I get, on average, one tale every 5 or 10 minutes in Orgrimmar saying, hey, where did you get the Murloc? I say, hey, I went to BlizzCon. Like, really, are you American? I was like, no, I'm British. And like, wow, you actually flew over there. Yeah, I did. They said, that's really cool. Yeah, it was. It was a great experience. And this is it's my little symbol of actually going. It's my little in-game symbol. Now, if other people get hold of these things, that symbol becomes less and less relevant. It becomes less of an individual thing and more of a, hey, look, it's a stupid pet. It's not a symbol anymore, it's just a stupid pet. But yeah, I'd say Sputnik pretty much landed it on the button there. That is the reason I am annoyed. Right, okay, server overpopulation, let's get on with it. Now, Prince of Magic says this, my realm, Cenarian Circle USA, just filled up also. The wait time is often around 20 minutes, and when I get on, it lags horribly. I find that I use my characters on other realms, such as Boulder Fist USA, more often with my other friends. It is the most annoying thing that I can't log into my Undead Mage in Cenarian Circle. I was wondering what you do when your server fills up. Again, you wait in the queue or you migrate. It's really that simple. And that's the problem at the moment. Now, Thungot has made it clear to us in the channel that he is aware of population problems. Now, what we suggested to him is guild movement would probably be one of the most encouraging factors, because I've had a few horror stories. Let me see if I can find one. I've got a whole bunch of tells here. And I need to find the specific one that actually says about this. Do we have anything at all? Where's it gone? I had it right here. Yeah, crazy. Anyway, the main point of the matter was that someone actually messaged me and said, yeah, my guild actually got split up because of a botched server migration. That is a really bad thing, as far as I'm concerned. That is not working as intended. Surely that is not the issue. Now, what Thungot said was, well, we can't really move players unless they consent to it. Yeah. But what about if they were to consent beforehand? Whenever you log into WoW, you actually consent to a variety of things. They're in the terms of service, the EULA. You consent to those. You don't explicitly consent. Remember every patch where you click that little tick box? That is you consenting until the next patch, where they will ask you to do it again. Basically for the reason that every time they change the game, they will have to make you re-consent. Yeah? So every time you log in, you do not have to click that, because you have already consented. You've consented, and you've said, I'm okay with this, this is great, I ticked a box. Now, Thungot brought up 2 points. One is that a GM could not move a character without explicit consent. And the second one is that, what if the guild movement was there, and some people didn't want to go, and they were, say, away for a few days, and then they suddenly found that their character had been moved. Right. Well, dealing with the first point first, consent. It's not all that hard to acquire consent. You could enable it as an option. A tick box, if you will. I consent to the GM being able to do this and this and this for the benefit of my character. Or, I do not consent to do this, this and this. Leave my character out of it. It's very easy. Now, the second point, about characters who may not want to leave, but are actually part of a guild, who clicks a imaginary, this does not exist, by the way, which it should, in my opinion, an imaginary move guild option, and get moved while, I say, away out of the country for a few days, and I say, oh no, I've been moved, I didn't want to move. 2 ways of getting around that. First, yet another, consent. Only a negative consent this time. I do not consent to allow the guild to do this. Or a simple matter of, I talk to a GM, I say, hey, my guild moved me to Mazrigo. I didn't want to go there, please move my character back. Why is this such a problem? Now, I have been given reports by several Mazrigo players who have asked about the possibility of moving back because the server itself is not playable. There's not enough PvP. And they're PvPers, mainly. Or maybe the server is just not populated enough for their taste, and they want to move back. And what the GMs have actually said, I'm going to find this for you, actually. I'm going to quote directly. If I can get onto the WoW Europe forums that have been dodgy for the past couple of days. Let's see. Now, I'm going to go through this and I'm going to find it. I'll give you the gist of it while I'm actually finding the specific thing. Here we go. Right. Now, Sephiroth, a level 69 elf hunter, he's in the guild Deception, which is one of the only, I believe there's 3 guilds on the Alliance side, and they're all very small, said this: I've just talked to a games master. He said that they will not do anything about this problem, or even considering open migration again. This is a direct quote. Now, unless this guy has totally misinterpreted what's been said, that is what the GM said. Okay, now, maybe one person, I could say, oh, well, maybe they're making it up, but Shadow Dog, a level 69 elf rogue, also from Mazragos, said, just talk to GM Marzonta, or something like that. He's saying that migrating is a one-way procedure. He kept repeating that they would have to investigate this. Then Shadow Dog goes a bit insane, not surprisingly, says, investigate what? There is freaking 1,000 Horde and 50 Alliance. Now, what's blatantly obvious here, either it's a case of the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, or in the case of an ogre, the right head does not know what the left head is talking about, or this is actually a genuine thing. You can't move back, you're stuck here. Why? Why are we stuck here? Is there a technical reason? Is it a gameplay reason? Is it a reason that, well, if everyone moved back, the realm would be even deader? Well, to be honest, it couldn't get more dead. It really couldn't. Let's take an example. There are 2 kinds of players, and there are 2 kinds of guilds in the game. There's PvE and there's PvP. This is on a PvP server. We're not talking about role-playing here. There are PvE guilds, and then there are PvP guilds, and then there are guilds that sort of do a bit of both. PvE guilds are fine. That's grand. Because you can go into Blackwing Lair on a server which has no one else on it. That's fine. You're not stopped from doing that. In fact, maybe it's a bit easier because you don't get ganked on the way in there. But what about PvP? If there's no alliance to kill, a PvP guild cannot exist. It can't. I am myself a PvP player mainly. I don't have the chance to play as much as I would like, so I don't have the chance to PvP as much as I would like. But when I can, that is the thing I enjoy the most. I enjoy Molten Core, I like doing high-end content, but I enjoy PvPing. Now, to PvP, I have to have a target. I have to have a target-rich environment. I can wander in there and kill people. If I can't do that, then that is a major part of the game gone for me. That's the reason I'm on a PvP server in the first place and didn't re-roll PvE lololol Care Bear Nub. That's why I'm there, to PvP. I can't do it, because the realm is pretty much dead as far as the Alliance goes. That's a problem. It really is. Okay, I'll see if I've got any more emails. I'll do a few shout-outs, and then we'll find another topic to talk about. God knows why. I'm just on a rant at the moment. That's the theme of this show, and if you don't like it, go away. I don't believe this show has ever apologised for saying anything, and it will certainly not be starting right now. Now, server comment. Hi, I'm Spencer from EU Sylvanus. Just a small comment in the issue of closing down the ability to join full servers. Let's say you have some friends playing on a server, and you want to go play with them. How damn frustrating would it be if you couldn't? This may be one of the reasons that Blizzard has not closed the realms. I was waiting for one of these, and there's a reason for this. Because, oddly enough, players actually do know what they're talking about a lot of the time, and players can come up with useful suggestions. And one of the suggestions that I've made and many other people have made, it's not my idea, many other people have made this suggestion repeatedly, is the idea of a friends invite system. Invitational tickets, RSVPs, you know, those gold-lettered things that get shoved through your door and say, hey, turn up to our glamorous, glitzy event, or be destroyed. What if I could invite a friend to my server. If it was, say, a brand new player, what if I could invite them? They couldn't usually get into Daggerspine, but I've given them an invitational ticket. Maybe I'm given a limited amount, say 5 or so. I've got an invitational ticket. I can invite a friend to my server. And they can do it. That's cool. However, what you don't get is an influx of randoms. And let's face it, that's why. The people who joined as friends, generally speaking, joined at the beginning. When I joined with my guild at the time, the Halibuts, we joined together on the same server deliberately. We'd pre-planned it. Our friends came and joined us a little bit later on. This is the same with many other guilds. Many guilds migrated from Planetside, where they were called outfits. They actually came over. We actually said, we want to play a new game, so we're sick of Planetside, let's go and play WoW. Okay, let's all come and play together. Where? Daggerspine. Okay. Day one, we've joined there. Fine, no problem. Now, if there is the occasional straggler, and the realm was to be, say, locked down, then is it totally inconceivable that a system could be put in place where a ticket-based invitational thing could actually be implemented? So I'd have a ticket. I could invite someone on the basis of their account name, bearing in mind the account names are unique, whereas character names are not. I can invite someone. That would not be a major problem to the queue. It would contribute, but it wouldn't be a major problem. It's about stemming the flow, not damming it completely. Damming it completely is often a worse thing to do. It's too extreme. You stem the flow. You slow people down. You stop people from flooding the server until you can address it. And the fact of the matter is, this should have been done. It should have been done before the problem got too worse. The fact is, it's now at the stage where it's a case of we have to rip people away from the community to fix it. That's the only way. Unless people suddenly quit, that is the only way we can fix the problem. That is a massive issue. It really is. And it should never have been allowed to get there. Now, I hope that Blizzard will learn from this, really, because that is not good. It really isn't. It's something that I would never want to see. Unfortunately, I had the opportunity to see it firsthand, how bad that actually is. The queues, the people complaining, the anguish more than anything, when your main priest drops out of a group and can't log in for the next hour and a half. The annoyance of having to wait an hour before I could play the game. Something has to be done. It really does. And I hope that Blizzard do learn from these migration reissues, and I hope that they do take the comments of players such as myself and anyone else on board. They learn, and they make migration a painless experience for everyone, and give people the freedom to do what they actually want with their character, and not say, no, you're stuck in that realm now, tough. You're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. I think it may be time for the feature that people love to hate. This is Rap in the Forums. Yo, faux shizzle and so forth. It's time for another edition of the one and only Rapping at the Forums. It's where we take the worst forum posts imaginable and turn them into horrible, killing puppies kind of raps. Ugh. Yes, indeed. Okay, you can always rely on Replicant's come up with something incredibly stupid. So here we go. Faux show. This is from Replicant. He is in the guild Soulbound. He's a paladin, level 60. The realm is Twilight's Hammer. Okay. It's a 1, 2, 3, and a 2 and a 4. Casuals do what I done. Got a direct to drive and download EverQuest 2. It cost me £11. After exchange rate from US dollars, I looted a legendary item within my first couple of hours. No, seriously, it's awesome. Blizzard are obviously making WoW for hardcores, time to burn, so let them have it. Important point, WoW has 4M subscribers equals Blizzard. Don't really care what you think. He too has 200k. So really listen to the community, not to mention the community is much more mature. Look at the boards, you don't see hardly anything. Flaming threads, the game is great, plus you get 30 days free. EQ2 really deserves to do well, and you haven't got the endless grind for epics or stupid 40-man raids. To hope you then have Muddy KP than everyone else. Also, Julie is much better. I've had some really good ones, and it doesn't come down to who has the more epics, it's skill based. Another great sell point is in WoW. I grinded 4 months, or grinded for months, to become a swordsmith that can make a lot of crap. Or face another 3-month grind to make one sword. Crafting in EQ2 really works. Granted, you need a good PC to play it, but I'm guessing most of us casualers have jobs and can afford one. I had the enjoyable role as a buff bot in raids in WoW, but now I got a predator who kicks ass. Everyone just seems more friendly. I'm currently subscribing to WoW and EQ2 and haven't given up hope yet, but that casualers will get some epic soon, and if it comes to cancelling one very soon, it will definitely be WoW. I'm sick of investing, spread out time for F, or maybe I'll check out the expansion when it comes out. Post edited by Replicant. Okay, it's another map today. Oh no, level 60 Dwarf Hunter. The guild is and the wheelies. The realm is Dragon Blight. What a fright. Okay. What's a 5 and a 2 and a 3 and a 7? To the beggars, okay, a little wine, but where have all the beggars come from? Last night in the space of 5 minutes, I had at least 6 people ranging from just opening trade windows to W of 1 gold, please. Need monies, 50s, please. Can I have some meat for my pet, please? There was even a guy in IF asking for 5 gold, exclamation mark times 5. I'm sure these people look at the 60 and think, he must have loads of money, he's level 60, yeah right. Dot on the dot, I have a total of 12 gold to my name at the moment. I'd just like to say to these people, go out and work for it like the rest of us. I have never and would never dream of begging for money to any other player. So, why do you do it? I know a fix for this is to put them on /ignore, but my ignore list is getting very, very full now. Dot, and a dot. One of the things that bugs me more about this is that a lot of these people are gilded. To all the GMs and officers out there, this is not good PR for your guilds, guys. Get it sorted, please. By the way, if anyone from my guild is begging, please let me know. It will be dealt with. I find DB has a great community in general, but these whiny nooblets are really beginning to make me not want to log in on anymore. So to the beggars, you can't expect everything at level 10 and for insert deity here. Say stop using the word please! Exclamation mark. Why not get out and experience the game world and earn your gold like everyone else? Hey, if the game doesn't provide the quick results that you expect, go play something else and get a cheat code so you can get yourself to the end without experience in the game at all or having any skill whatsoever. We don't need you on DB, we don't want you on DB. Get with the program or get out of here. Okay, that's it, that's my piece. Agree or disagree? I cannot.
You're listening to the podcast and archive of Blue Please. You can listen in live on Sundays at 17:30 GMT. That's 12:30 Eastern Standard Time with a lively musical pre-show kicking off 1 hour beforehand. If you like Wow Radio's productions, then make sure to dig our shows at dig.com and check out our website at www.wcradio.com.
Oh, lordy, lordy, I'll never roam again. Children of Bodom with a cover of Oops, I Did It Again. Oh, God. I'm quite shocked after that. Yipes. Okay, I've got a few shout-outs to give out. Oh, God, I'm getting spammed with requests for this one. Okay. Give Varska a shout-out. Yeah, just for the fact it's a shout-out or because I WTF pwn. Well, there you go. Who else wants a shout-out? If you want a shout-out, send me a PM right now. And I'll deal with it. Kraft wants his CD. Yep, I'm well aware of that one. How long is my show? My show is between half an hour... Not half an hour. Between an hour and a half and 2 hours. Depending on how much crap I've got to talk about today. The Pirate wants a shout-out. And a shout-out to Terrace for being a Warcraft god. No problem. Luku wants a shout-out to Common Sense, himself, and sensible people everywhere. Well, all three of them. Reaper says, Hi, I've got no idea if you're doing shout-outs tonight, but if you are, is there a chance you could congratulate our guild Rage for Order on Twilight's Hammer EU on our first Onyxia kill only 2 hours ago? Got quite a few listeners and would really make the day even better than it already has been. Congratulations for downing the big, black, irritating, annoying person dragon thing. Yeah. Leto says, why did I play the cover for Oops, I Did It Again? Because it's painful and it burns. Oh, what a shame. You see, Leto's into emo, so I've been told. Prince of Magic says, shout out to Aloelt, who reached level 40, and to Amy for going out with me for about 1 year so far. Congratulations. Let's see. Shout out to the Adventurers Inc. to let them know I'm still alive. That's Zinnik. Apparently he's got too many studies on at the moment. Studies for the lose. Shout out to Madal, the local Aussies who pulled an all-nighter to listen in once again. Aussie for the win. You nutters. Shout out to Waltiln. Waltiln? Yes. Shout out for the hell of it. Okay, no problem at all. A shout out to the game Fahrenheit. That's from Archeron, also known as Indigo Prophecy in the US. It's an awesome game. Go out and get it. A shout out to Andy I Wovru. That's from Amy. Wow, I feel sick already. A shout out for Trek for getting his shame to level 60 while listening to your show. TB show is best grinding background. I'm not sure whether to take offense to that, actually. And, to Violent Noise EU for being in Zul'Gurub and owning the place. Nice one. A shout out to Thundergot from Mental Midget for being Norwegian like myself, and I'm pretty sure he is the Lord of Thunder. No, I think that was actually Zeus in Dota, which is blatantly imba and needs nerfing right now. Rugnep wants a shout out to his guild Fraglana on Shattered Hand because we WTF pwn in Warsong Gulch AV and AV. All at the same time, apparently. WoW Radio 2304 wants a shout out to Oxra and the rest of the giants on Shadow Song. No problem at all. A shout out to the zombies, that's from L. Just got back from an Evil Dead Land of the Dead double bill at my local cinema. Awesome. 1 to Will's Kitten, whatever that means. A shout out to your mom from Ender. That's mature. A shout out to the Dragon Blight. Is that Dragon Blight Realm? Yes, the Dragon Blight Realm for getting stupider by the day. That's from Vanji. Congratulations. A shout out to Magos, because Macbeth homework sucks. Fair enough. Crash! Shout out to the Unusually Large Rodents Guild from Hyol. That is the best name. That is the best guild name I've ever seen. And the Rodents of Unusual Size was already taken. That's brilliant. That's from Carter. A shout out to the Monkeys in the Tree from Stormguard. I don't know why he's doing that. A shout out to Sputnik for pwning the barbecue like a steak. Do steaks pwn the barbecue, or are they pwned by the barbecue? We just don't know! A shout out for me from Trek for taking offence to the grinding comment. A shout out to the Sea Dogs on Daggerspine. Yar! Fantastic. I think that's everything. Possibly. I'm probably getting more shout outs, but they've actually gone off the side of the screen now. I'll have to actually kill my other server just so I can see if we've got any more. Oh god, there's another 5. Okay, shout out to Pickles, that's from Forest Wind. Shout out from me to UTB, don't quit WoW, that's from Nibbo. We shall see. A shout out to Rilly Viloo. Pronounce my name. There you go. A shout out to Thorad111's brother, who is 18 now. Congratulations, you've now entered the realm of adultdom. It's not as good as it sounded before. A shout out to Order of the Wolf on Maelstrom, and congrats to Tasker on 60. That's from Croft. And that's about it, I believe. We may have some more. Apologies if I've missed it. I've got a ridiculous amount of shout-outs just scrolling across my screen. No, it's a little bit difficult. I'm going to have 2 special shout-outs just from me. I want to give a shout-out to the guys at Rufus Cubed. I believe it's rufuscubed.com. Terran and Ezra, who we met at BlizzCon, who are possibly the coolest people in the world ever. Yes, I do actually mean ever. Go to rufus3.com. Now, once you've done that, I want you to click the little banner that says return. Go to rufuscubed.com/return. Okay? Now, you should find here a preview. Yes. Specifically, it's under rufuscube.com/return/extras.shtml. It's the preview of Leodov and Voldegar Go to BlizzCon. If you're not aware, those are the 2 people who are actually in Return. The Return being the award-winning Machinima movie by Rufus Cube, Terran and Ezra. Head over there, go and download the trailer, and you may see someone who you recognise, as well as some crazy compositing of real life and WoW characters melded together. I can tell you for a fact the entire WoW Radio team will actually be on the full video, because we were filmed doing something which I can't quite remember, and I also believe that Kiki Jiki will be on doing the gnome dance. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, go and download the trailer. It's awesome. That's rufuscubed.com. I'll post it in the forums for those who are really lazy. Oh no, Clawhammer's already done it. Fantastic. Right. I'm about done. Except for one little thing. And that is, of course, the one and only Imbecile of the Week. Yeah. It's Imbecile of the Week. Now, my content team always submits stuff for me so I can sort it out and get it on the air. Imbecile of the Week is one of the most submitted topics. Basically just because there's loads of them. They're all morons, and they all suck. Now, I'm having I'm having trouble picking one. I'm going to pick this one today, just a nice short one, just because it's a good ranting topic, and I'm on a ranting mood today. We did mention Replicant earlier. I'm not going to give him any more airtime, because quite frankly, we already know he's a complete moron. So I'll go for someone completely different. This guy's from Destromath. His name is Dima. He's a level 47 human warrior, and his guild is the Good Times. And he says, can you survive in WoW without buying gold? Really, the only time I've ever been able to afford anything is after I auctioned off a really, really, really lucky drop from Stranglethorn Vale. I can never afford this stuff, and my friends have given up and started buying gold. The prices have to be lower. Bear. Where can I start? Now, how do you make money in WoW? There are many, many, many ways. And it requires an actual bit of thought on your part. If you want to make some cash, you actually have to have a little bit of a mind for business. You don't have to have much. You know, it's only basic selling tactics. You sell, people buy. You make money. You mark up the cost of the resources to do it. You get mining. You get any profession, and you make some cash out of it. And you actually have to put some effort in, oddly enough. Really. You have to put some effort into getting some cash in WoW. But yeah, I've got to start buying gold. No, you don't. Learn to play a class, noob. Not only that, learn to use professions, noob. I'm amazed that someone can think that that is actually how it's going to be. I can also just be amazed that he's saying, oh, prices have to be lower. Have you ever heard of the economy? That is how the economy sets itself up in this way. Basically, the economy reacts as to how people are spending and selling. So, if people do have a lot of money, generally speaking, what you will see is the prices on the auction house will be higher. Servers that have been around for longer have what's called mudflation. Happens on every MMO that has any kind of economics system in it. You've got mudflation, and the prices increase. But they increase, hopefully, and I say hopefully, in a directly proportional manner to the amount of cash people have. You can't just lower prices. It won't work. Economy collapses if you do that. It happens in everywhere. You don't say, oh, British government, everything is too expensive, please lower the prices. You can't do that. It doesn't work that way. It's basic economics, for God's sake. Fact of the matter is, if you want something, you've got to work for it. You get nothing for free in this life, and you certainly don't get anything for free in this game. You are most certainly imbecile of the week. Yes. You have been listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. Dragon Force has been requested. Dragon Force will be played, and a few other things just to play you out tonight. Thank you for listening to the show tonight. Ranting for the win. If you don't like it, then don't listen. It's that simple. I've been TotalBiscuit. This has been the Murloc. Get your lighters out. Put your lighters in the air for Dragon Force. I send this out for the druids everywhere. This is Starfire. Thank you for listening. It's good night from me.